Hey, thanks for tuning in. And we're going to cover three things today: Abraham Lincoln, Rosalynn Carter, and proper gym etiquette. But let's get started with Rosalynn, First Lady Rosalynn Carter. Rest in peace. Everybody knows Jimmy Carter's wife. Jimmy Carter, served as our president, 39th president from 1977 to 1981. Rosalynn died 2 years ago today. Let me read this quote because this is so fitting. There are only four kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. No doubt. It is so true. I served as a caregiver to both my parents. Rest in peace. You see them up there. And to see loved ones deteriorate. My father couldn't speak, couldn't walk. My mother, when they deteriorate at the end, it is sad, but kudos to anyone who's a caregiver. You were doing tremendous work and you were chosen. So, congrats to you who's doing it, and good luck and hang in there. I know it's a tough challenge, but you can do well. So, and you're doing such great work. Again, caregivers are, it's a tough job. It's a very tough job, but one day we'll all need caregivers. Here we go. Let's jump into Abraham Lincoln. Do you guys know this? 162 years ago today, what happened? The Gettysburg Address. You guys know that, right? That occurred. And what did it occur for? All right. The southern states, when he was elected president, first of all, Abraham Lincoln failed 5 times in elections. Before the sixth, he was elected president on March 4th, 1861. He was our 16th president. He served until his death, which was on April 15th. He was shot on April 14th, 1865. He died a day later in a boarding house. But so the southern states were on the verge of rebellion because of his threat to the institution of slavery when he was elected. April 12th, the rebellion turned into a civil war, right? That civil war lasted 4 years. That lasted until April 9th of 1965. But here we go. In July of 1863, a major battle was fought in Pennsylvania in the town of Gettysburg. Today, there's about 7,000 people living in Gettysburg. But it lasted for 3 days, 3 bloody days, and the Union, the North, was victorious. And that's in combination with a victory in Vicksburg, Mississippi. So that was the turning point in the conflict. All right. We know that. And now he was invited to speak. President Lincoln, he was not the primary speaker. The primary speaker was a guy named Edward Everett. He was like this famous orator in that time. So in November of 1863, right, we know that 162 years back, citizens and dignitaries gathered to commemorate a new national cemetery built to bury the dead. It's now called Soldiers National Cemetery. And that was born the Gettysburg Address, one of the famous presidential speeches in American history. And it was basically why the war was worth fighting for. And he tied it to the principles of the Declaration of Independence. So let me read it to you. You guys know it, but I want to read it. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives to that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. So there you go. There's the Gettysburg Address, Abraham Lincoln, November 19th, 1863. So what are we going through today? You see what's going on with our government. We really hope that things get better, things get more unified. I sure hope so, because it doesn't seem to be a great time for our government. But speaking of great times, let me move on to something here. Proper gym etiquette. You guys know yesterday I covered my Get Your Shit Together podcast. I talked about my 50 rules of badassery, which was the last episode. But episode number 6, that goes back 10 years to May 6, 2014. I did that. You go check it out on my website, richtola.com. You'll find it there. A pretty good one. I talk about the proper gym etiquette, but let me just say, I want to talk about 5 things today, because, I'm working out in the gym here. I'm loving it. 3 days in, let me tell you, door to door, it takes me 60 minutes. By the time I walk out that door, hit the gym, come back. So I have more time to work out than I did when I'm driving there 5 miles to get to the gym. Plus, I'm not like anxious to get into the steam room or the sauna or whatever. I'm just taking my time, hitting my exercises. There's 15 of those that I can do. Now, in the gym I was a member of, there were 20 of them, but no worries. I get enough done with the 15. But, today I will say, I want to give a shout out to this woman. She was like 40 years old, who came walking in, smiled and said hello. I was like, whoa, that's awesome, because that's number 5. You need to smile more. Remember yesterday, this girl looked at me like I was like some homeless guy on the street coming after. But anyway, here we go. This is the first thing. Guys, whatever you're in the gym, men or women, you got to clean up after yourself, especially you young people. I see it all the time. They throw towels around. When you're wiping down equipment, they throw it on the floor. Do not do that. I saw that so much in school. It's unbelievable how much trash people throw on the floor. Do not do that. Clean up after yourself. Wipe down the equipment. You guys know the proper protocol there. Number 2, don't sit on the equipment playing with your phone like a chucklehead. Don't do that. You're wasting time. Plus, you're preventing someone else who's like looking across the room thinking, what's that bozo doing sitting on the equipment? If you're on the equipment, use the equipment, get off the equipment. That's it. This is another little pet peeve of mine. If you're in the locker room, close the locker door. So many times you walk in the locker, all these doors are open. How difficult is it for you, after you used the locker, to close it before? Why? Because the next person coming down, first of all, those alleys are little narrow. You got to like bump into a door. It's crazy. Just close the door. I see old guys do it. Young people do it. Just close the locker door if you're using a locker. This is simple stuff, people, that people do not do. And finally, treat it like an operating room. I talked about this so many times in my fitness career. 45 years every single day. Every gym I ever go to, I treat it with utmost respect, like an operating room. You're a surgeon going in there, getting the work done, and get out. He's not leaving tools around. He's not, there's no garbage, right? Again, treat it like an operating room. Go in there, get your work done like a surgeon, and get out. That's what it's there for. It's going to make it more enjoyable for you. It's going to make it better for the person that's coming in after you. So there you go. A couple of highlights of my little pet peeves on proper gym etiquette. And again, everybody, get your workout in on a daily basis. Hope you're sticking with that 40-day program that I set you up on. You guys know the program, Daily Fitness. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll see you next time. Peace.